You're listening to Online Pet Health Podcasts with Dr. Megan Kelly. Continuing education for veterinarian rehabilitation therapists. Learn more at onlinepethealth.com.
Hey vet rehabbers, happy holidays to all of you. My family and I at the moment are in Hermanus, which is a small coastal town east of Cape Town. It's about an hour and 40 minutes from Cape Town. We've got a holiday home here, and which I think is a little piece of heaven. It's nestled between a mountain and a lagoon, and the mountain's called Maanskane Kop, and it's actually between Hermanus and Stanford. And so we're just enjoying the sunshine, walking the dogs on the beach, and spending some much needed family time. So I'd love to connect and hear from all of you what you guys are up to. A great way to connect with me is to take a picture or a screenshot of your podcast or what you're doing, tag me in at Onlinepethealth, and I will reach out. Let's get connected. I love hearing from all of you guys, knowing that you're joining me each week and listening to the Veterinary Rehabilitation Podcast. So reach out, please. So this month we had a competition on our Facebook page. If you're on Facebook, it's at Onlinepethealth. And the competition was how many new webinars or hours of training do we add each year to our members platform? So I was amazed when I heard this answer. The answer is 75 hours added to our library. And now the total of our vet rehab specific training, the number of hours on our platform is 332 hours. Our Online Pet Health members obviously love this, and we're really, really proud, and thank all our lecturers who provide all the amazing content. We have got more than 100 lecturers that have provided the training, and we thank them for sharing their knowledge. If you're not a member, don't worry, you can always join our limited access membership. So here you get 12 free hours of vet rehab training and CPD, and that's over the 12 months, so over the year. And there's also loads more downloads and resources there. And the cost, well, it's free. It's our gift to the vet rehabber community. So 12 free hours of CPD over the 12 months. You can sign up at onlinepethealth.com/free. So today, Ané and I speak about finding your Ikigai as a vet rehabber. Now, I'd never heard this word Ikigai before, but it's basically finding your sweet spot and your purpose so that you love every day and wake up wanting to go to work. Before we head over to the chat with Ané, a quick word from our sponsors. Companion Animal Health delivers the most advanced technologies in pain management, photomodulation, rehabilitation, diagnostics, and regenerative therapy to veterinarians. So whether your goals are to heal and reduce pain, regenerate and repair tissues, diagnose and record treatment success, or provide rehabilitative modalities, Companion has a solution that is good for veterinary hospitals and their patients. Companion's products are backed by evidence, supported by education, and successfully implemented through Companion's industry-leading commitment to long-term partnership. You can learn more at companionanimalhealth.com. So let's head over to Ané and my meaningful chat. I hope you guys get thinking after this. It really got me thinking. Hey Ané, thanks for joining me, the very last podcast of 2021. Can you believe it?
The year has flown by. Thank you, Meg. Merry Christmas to everyone and happy holidays. And I hope you guys have had a wonderful festive season.
Yeah, and I hope that you guys are having some time off. I know I used to close over this period. And luckily, because we don't have to deal with emergencies, a lot of us can, but not all of us do. I know some vet rehabbers just push through. And it's often the owners are on holiday, so it's easy for them to bring their pets for therapy. So yeah, but I'm hoping you're getting some time off with friends and family. So we're going to be chatting. Ané and I love to do our own recordings over this time of the year. So we very, very often will say, like at the end of the year, oh, we're going to record. Let's do some things, you and I chatting. And Ané always comes up with lots of deep topics. And so this one is Ané's topic. And it's something that I think is really, really important. Ané read a book which actually inspired this topic. And it's all about finding your purpose. And so I'm going to hand over to Ané because I think that since you read the book, if I hand over to you and then you can just do a little summary of, I can never say the word, Ikigai?
Ikigai.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was introduced to this concept of Ikigai probably about a year ago. And kind of looked at it and touched on it and then left it. And then it came up again in life a little bit more recently. And so I decided to explore it and understand it more deeply. So Ikigai is a Japanese concept or way of life. It is an everyday part of their life and their culture, and it means something a little bit different to each person because it's a very individual thing. So Meg is right when she says that it's linked to our purpose, but it is only a part of what it is. So we can find Ikigai, which means we can find our purpose or joy or a reason to carry on or something to that effect. We can find it in many different things. So for example, I might find a moment of Ikigai when I am cuddling with Alon in the morning after he's had a difficult night, and he says something really sweet and my heart just melts, and it makes everything worthwhile and the world just comes right back into balance. And that could be a moment of Ikigai for me. For someone else, it could be, oh my goodness, it could definitely be that moment when you watch a spinal dog walk for the first time. You didn't know what was going to happen. It was a really bad case. You weren't sure if it was going to recover, and then it takes those first few steps and it is just like everything is worthwhile. So these are moments that point to our Ikigai. It's also very closely linked to stepping into a state of flow, which is also a kind of concept that I'm a little bit new to. But a state of flow is often like a state that you would step into when you are dancing or painting. If you do any of those things, you know that hours can go by and you didn't even realize because you're just so in the moment that you're in. And this can come from, like, it doesn't have to be painting or dancing. It comes from whatever puts you in that mind space. So for some people, it could be working with numbers because the world disappears and everything, your whole being, your whole mind is focused on what is in front of you. And it's energizing, right? That's the other big thing about it, is that it raises your energy levels. It renews you to be able to carry on with the normal things in life. So this is also a part of your Ikigai, is this thing that energizes you and that gives you new zest for life, and that focuses your whole mind. It takes over your whole reality, and you can just do that without realizing that there's a world outside of what you're doing. And I mean, I've had that as well. Often when I am working with or training horses, or when I'm in the stable treating them, where time just disappears and there's nothing but me and this horse, and where our bodies are connecting and how the changes are occurring. And so that is also a very strong link to our Ikigai. So if you Google Ikigai, you will most likely find a pretty cool Venn diagram that divides it into 4 different aspects. And where these 4 things converge, that is what your Ikigai is. So it's the 4 things is: what do I love? What am I good at? What can I get paid for? And what does the world need from me? And all of these 4 things, they fill a need within us. So we need to do something that we love. We need to do something that we are remunerated for, because we need to live and survive. We need to do something that makes us feel like we're making a difference and a change in the world. And being good at it is obviously really helpful. But this is not actually a true reflection of Ikigai. It can help us to understand, and it can definitely help us to find, it can help us from a business perspective and from a personal perspective if our life is out of balance. This diagram and this concept can help us to kind of find our way back again. But Ikigai is more than just these things, and it can be one of these things or the convergence of all of them, or it can be outside of these as well. So like I said, if I find that moment when I'm cuddling with my child in the morning, then is it really something that I'm good at? I'm a mom, I'm winging it, right? Am I getting paid for it? No, it's costing me a lot of money. So it doesn't reflect this diagram, but it does fill my cup, and it does make me excited about getting up in the morning. So a lot of people will say that your Ikigai is the thing that makes you want to wake up in the morning. It's the thing that gets you excited and that makes you want to push yourself. So yes, it can be that, and it can be more than that, and it can be less than that. So it's a little bit confusing, but Meg, does that make any sense?
It does. And I warned you guys this was going to be deep, that Ané was going to get deep with us. No, I think it's lovely. I think it's so important because, in order for us to be able to do the work that we do need to keep filling our cup. We've spoken before about, when we have burnout, and when we're overwhelmed with the work situation and things are just hectic, and that's when our cup is not full. So we need to find a place where we're content, we're happy, we're doing something that we love. And for me, I just look at the deeper purpose of what we're doing, and I think back to my life, and I think back to when I was a vet. And my whole life I wanted to be a vet. So from very young I wanted to be a vet. And then when I was a vet, something just wasn't right about veterinary for me. I loved it and I enjoyed it, but I must say I didn't wake up every morning like just, yes, I'm going to go to work. I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to go to work. And so veterinary itself actually started to become a job for me. And, you hear so many people when they talk about, it's just like, it's a means for me to live. I do this job, I don't love it, but I get paid for it and I can do it, and that's what I do. And I think us as vet rehabbers, I think most of us are very fortunate that we don't have that feeling. And I certainly had a complete shift in my life when I went down the vet rehab a pathway. And I cannot remember one day ever as a vet rehabber not excited about going to work. It wasn't like work for me. I loved every single minute of it, and I think for us, a lot of us are those types of people that want to heal, we want to help. And like I was thinking as you're talking about that spinal dog walking, that feeling is just absolutely amazing. It's like, it's like a dopamine rush. It's like a rush. Really. It's amazing, that feeling. Like you just think, wow, like look what me or my team or what we have achieved and done for this animal. And you see the obviously the appreciation and the joy in the owners' faces. And so I think it's really just finding a place where we are happy and content with what we do. And there might be some vet rehabbers that maybe don't have that feeling. So maybe in the work that they're doing, and you need to sort of think, well, why? What is it about the work that you're not fulfilling your purpose or filling your cup up? And there might be things about what you do that is not right for you. But you can't stay like that, you can, but that's not a life really. So you got to find a way in which to feel fulfilled and feel like, every day it's more to just going to work.
Yeah, for sure. And the more that we can ask ourselves, the more that we can understand who we are and what we're feeling and why we're feeling. And so this is a very important part of Ikigai, is that there's introspection happening and you're aware of how you're feeling and why you're feeling that way and how you're responding to things. So when we're doing that, we can identify the things that are difficult or a strain or that take that energy from us. And if we then if we then look at this concept of what do I love, what am I good at, what can I get paid for, and what does the world need for me, we can find where those things intersect to build our business to be one that's going to feed us and grow us and inspire us and get us excited to wake up in the morning. And so if I think about myself, for example, I do love working with dogs, but I don't love working in a small animal practice. I find that very stressful. I find working with clients very stressful. And so when I have clinic days where I'm in a practice working with people, appointment after appointment, that is stressful for me. So that's not something I would like to build. I wouldn't like to build a business around that, because it would be day after day of stress. But I do like going to owners' houses and treating their dogs there. I find that much easier, much more personal. I think that if I can have a more personal connection with an owner, it's easier for me to have those conversations and relationships when I have to keep it on a more professional par. And we are professional, so I'm definitely not saying like let go of that professionalism, but just the way that I feel about how we are connecting with each other, if I can shift a little bit that relationship to where I'm more comfortable, then it helps me to be to not go into that kind of draining state. And horses never, because the owner's not there most of the time. When they are, it's fun. When they are, then I can finally get all the information that I've just been trying to get, remotely from them. So in that kind of scenario, it's much more rewarding for me when I can just work with a horse on my own in the stable and there's no one else, and I can just do what I need to do, and I love it. And I don't have to explain everything that I'm doing. I find that hard. Who's good at that? Are you guys good at that? If you are, then that's fantastic, right? We all have different things that work for us. So if it works for you to be constantly talking, explaining why and how you're doing something, then do more of that. That's what I'm trying to say. Do more of that, which you find rewarding and exciting and fills you and motivates you. And that's where we should go. And you were saying just now, Meg, that when we, many of us don't feel this way about our work. And I think within our profession, a very big part of that is that we're not being paid well for what we're doing. And this is a sad reality when you're doing something that you love, but you can't survive, or you can't meet your needs as a person in terms of having enough food, being able to look after transportation and your family and housing, When you can't do those things, then you will start to resent the thing that you love, the thing that you're doing, the thing that's taking up all your time, because it's not feeding back into your other needs. And so we need to be aware of that and not fall into that trap. So if you are not being remunerated appropriately, something does need to change. Whether that change is immediate or in the long term and you're working towards a goal, that's fine. But you need to be aware of that there's a problem and how you're going to fix it or correct it.
Yeah, you gave some great examples. I'm going to come back to the pay, but you gave some great examples of yourself, and I think what's really nice is that if you are a person now that you're in practice and you're not feeling like, you're loving what you're doing and you've got options. And that's the great thing. You could be a mobile vet rehabber if you wanted to. You don't have to be in practice. You could choose horses, or you could choose small animals, or, and I chat a lot to the vet rehabbers when I mentor them about becoming a specialist within vet rehab. It doesn't mean that you don't see the other cases. It just means that there's a specific type of case that you really love to do and focus on that. And then other vet rehabbers will refer to you, and vets will know this person is really good with spinal cases or whatever it may be. So find a speciality. If I think of Sarah McKeegan, for example, her speciality is degenerative myelopathy and pets with disabilities. That's her thing. All different vet rehabbers have got things that they concentrate on, and that will also help to be able to focus the things that you love and be able to do the things that you love. You might still need to do some things that you don't love doing, but that's reality. I think everyone has that. So it doesn't matter if you are doing your ideal job, your dream job, there is always going to be things, right, Ané? So there are always things that we do that we don't love. So we can't always get away from that.
No, and it's not about that. It's just about having, you're doing more of the things that are filling your cup than the ones that don't, so that when I do have a clinic day and I'm seeing 12 patients, I feel great at the end of it, because I know that I've made a difference. It was good. Tomorrow I'm going to go see horses, and that's great. So it's just, you want to be able to walk away from that scenario that does drain you and that does take your energy, and still feel good about yourself and about what you've done.
And it's the awareness about it, right? So you're like, because often we'll just go along. So a lot of you veterinary habits might just be going along, like thinking this is it, you know, and this is what I have to do every single day. But if you sit back now and actually try and analyze, like, what are the things that are emptying your cup and not filling them, and how is it possible to change them? Some of the things you might not be able to, but some of the things you might be able to redirect and not have to do, or change situations completely, like Ané suggested. I'd like to touch on the pay thing. And, you know, I think that this is a problem in a lot of the veterinary world. You know, I think that vet nurses have a similar situation where a lot of vet nurses do what they love, but they also feel that they don't get paid. I don't think it's anything specific to our profession. I think teachers are another profession that have the same feeling. You know, there's a lot of passion behind what they do, and they love what they do. And yeah, we do need to, though, make a living. So we need to find ways in which to generate income. And sometimes, you know, it means going in on your own and starting your own clinic. Sometimes it means finding another job. Sometimes it means just literally talking to your boss or whoever employs you and working out a way in which you can generate more income for the practice that would financially benefit you too. But it is important because, as you say, if you're not getting paid enough, you don't want to resent what we do, and it is a problem. And I think it's probably a conversation maybe for a Facebook Live or another time. What can we do to overcome this problem that we have, you know? And I think that because it's such a new profession, there aren't really set salaries really around our profession. And you know, most of the people that are doing this work have got a degree. They've spent a lot of time studying. And so, yeah, it's a good topic to cover at a later stage.
I love it. So I think that if you guys are interested in living with Ikigai and developing this concept in your life, there is a book. It's Ken Mogi's book called The Little Book of Ikigai, The Essential Japanese Way to Finding Your Purpose in Life. And he describes 5 pillars of Ikigai. And I love these, and I'm going to try and work this in this coming year on making them more a part of myself and my daily life and habits. So the first one is to start small. And this is really powerful, in that when we focus on the small details and doing them well, we build a foundation that's really strong, and we end up having this compound growth when we slowly build on small things done well. And so that's really important. The next pillar is to release yourself. We need to accept ourselves for who we are and what we are. And we need to love ourselves that way. And we need to let go of the things that we hold ourselves back with, whether that's unlike for certain aspects of ourselves, or dislike for certain aspects, or unforgiveness for something that we've done. We need to release ourselves and let go of those things so that we can be who we are. And then harmony and sustainability is the third pillar. And this is very much about community and about working within society and with other people. And I would say is a very important pillar of Ikigai, but not one that I'm going to focus on too much. The fourth is the joy of little things. And this is really about making a habit of enjoying good things, enjoying the things that bring joy to your life. Because who feels guilty when they take a moment out of their day to just stop and enjoy something nice? Do you feel guilty when you have some chocolates because it looks delicious? We do, right? And that's no, come on. Let's take the time and enjoy those things and let them fill our cup and just enjoy it. Just be there, just take it. And then the fifth pillar is being in the here and now. Be present in the moment that you're in. And that's it. And when we do those things, then we build our lives with Ikigai, and we build our lives with purpose and enjoyment. And that's what it's about.
Thanks, Ané. And as you were chatting now, I was actually thinking of another book which I read, is actually from Simon Sinek, and it's called Finding Your Why. And it's similar but different. And for those of you that maybe the Ikigai thing is a little bit way out for you, that's an alternative book that you could have a look at. Finding Your Why. It's like about finding your purpose. So I really hope that this conversation has inspired you guys and just made you actually sit back and analyze like your work and what you do and your life. So not just work, could be everything. And are you content and happy in what you're doing? And are you in a place of Ikigai?
I love it. Thanks, Meg.
Thanks, Ané. Awesome chats. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
If you enjoy this podcast, please hit the subscribe button so you get notified every time I load a new podcast. I'm here every week talking to vet rehab therapists from all over the world about all things vet rehab. For more information about continuing education for vet rehabbers, you can go to Onlinepethealth.com. I'd like to thank you for listening to this podcast, and of course, thank our sponsors, Companion Animal Health. Companion's products are backed by evidence, supported by education, and successfully implemented through Companion's industry-leading commitment to long-term partnership. You can learn more at companionanimalhealth.com.